Everybody. Welcome to a late night edition of Philly 444 plus more. That's Fourth and Go. That's us. That's Dave. That's Mark. Here we are on a Thursday night, a thirsty Thursday. Mark, what do you call it?
A thriving Thursday? Thriving?
That's what I think that's what it was. But welcome back. We took a week off last week. I was out partying in Nashville, and I'll get into that in a little bit, telling you guys how beautiful that city is. And if there's an Eagles game there, we got to go. But other than that, we're going to get right into things and have some fun tonight. Me and Mark talking Phillies, Sixers, Eagles, little Flyers on the edge too. But we'll start it right off with the MLB All-Star game. But before I get into that, what's up, Mark?
What up? What up? It's Thursday, thriving Thursday. Oh, are you drinking vino?
I am tonight. Yeah.
Wow.
It's pretty good, man. I'm not a big wine guy, but tonight I felt like having one.
I was going to say, I've never seen you with the vino. Wow.
I might switch it up. It's a $9 bottle. Don't get too excited.
Hey, wine is wine. It's fine.
But it's good, man. It's good to be back. Good talking some sports with you. So let's dive into MLB, right? Last we talked, the Phillies were kind of like accelerating, putting their foot on the gas, and they did. They've continued to do that. They got the sweep down in Tampa. Little bump in the road in Miami. Got 2 out of 3 there, but the one win was exciting fashion as Christian Pache hit a 2-run homer to win the game in the 9th. But I just think this team is kind of right where they need to be. And I'm kind of really at ease with them right now. I'm like, we're going to get in the playoffs. I'm convinced that we're not going to win the division. Braves are too far out. But with the Mets falling apart, Miami hasn't been in the playoffs. And, well, I think they made it in that weird COVID season. But other than that, like,
right,
they might be good. They have pitching, but I don't know how long they can sustain that. I think we can still catch them. Look at the teams in the Central. Oh, I know Cincinnati's playing well, but come on, really? The whole season, can they do that?
The last, yeah.
No, and then out west, yeah, I think Arizona's here to stay. I think LA. I don't know if San Diego's going to catch back up. We'll see that shortly here coming up tomorrow, starting tomorrow. And I'm not sold on the Giants. They got no pitching. So in the end, I really think the Phillies are in a good spot, and I'm feeling all right, man. I think what are they, half game out of the wild card, the third wild card right now?
Yep, half game out of the final wild card spot.
What do you feel? Because I feel good. I don't think they played their best baseball, and they're in a spot 48-41. I'm good.
I mean, remember, I was pretty high on them for the longest time, and then doubt crept in. About a month ago or so, where I was like, I don't know, things just have not been going the right way. And then after that, I feel like every time we like change our tune and change our tide, they do the opposite of whatever it is. Like, it seems like that's the way it goes. And then you asked me about, chances of making playoffs, and you were a little higher than I.
Yeah.
And now I'm back to where I was before. I'm back to, and it kind of like followed the same fashion. I mean, we're looking at a team similar to last year. They, just did not play well in the beginning months of the season, lost games that they should have won that really would have them where they need to be. But the games that, they're winning now, they weren't winning a month or two ago. Like, they're gutting out those ones that they need to. They're getting much better pitch. I mean, Taijuan Walker he's back. He's what we thought we were signing. He is what we thought we were signing. Ranger Suarez, you're seeing him recover. So just to see that, the bullpen's been really good for the most part. Like, seeing a lot of good things out of this team. So where I'm at is I feel a lot better about where we are. I think their chances to make the playoffs are much higher now. I'm excited about it. They're getting fun to watch. And, the pressure's on. They know it. This is Dombrowski's time of year, his trade deadline.
Yeah, he'll be good.
He's gonna work to put the very best team that he can. If he sees there's something that needs to be done, he's gonna do it. And
Arenado? I mean, there's talk.
If nothing, if not that big, like if he honestly, what I would like to see if he goes like Cody Bellinger or something like that.
They're still in more of a. I think they're still in it more than they have the best run differential in the Central. That's why I'm like, but hey, let me just comment on that. Like, the biggest problem I had with them, and this goes months back, right? We're going April, May, was pitching. And now you get the pitching, you get the wins. And I that's really what I thought they were centered around. And like, we're getting a really, really down season from Harper, from a power standpoint, obviously.
Sure. Yeah.
Schwarber's got the worst batting average of any regular player. in the league, right? And then you look at some other pieces there. JT hasn't been great.
Nope.
Like there's a lot of things that can still turn around. I think Bohm's been really good. I think Stott's been really good. Obviously, Cassie's been good. Hall's just coming into the mix now. I think that's going to help things out too. I just think the offense is on the plus side and it's going to be revved up. And if we can sustain this pitching, if not improve it, because I think Nolan and Wheeler are still a little bit enigmas.
Yeah.
But like you said, and Sanchez has been good too. And we got our buddy check in. Cease, what's up? Let me know which ones you're going to. I haven't decided. I think about going to the night game, but I haven't decided yet. I might go Sunday, but that's awesome to hear. And thanks for checking in. Yeah, that's gonna be fun. That's like it's not a made up doubleheader. They put this in, they built this into the schedule early on coming out of the All-Star break. I think it's a really cool thing they did.
Yeah. No, it's good. There really haven't been too many doubleheaders this year for us so far. So I don't think.
Right. No, and it's just cool because you got this break, right? And they're like, you know what? You can play a doubleheader. Like you just got 5 days off. Let's go.
Right.
Let's go ball.
Yeah.
But for me, going forward in the second half, I think we're both on the same page. Like they're competing with Miami and San Francisco. I think we're gonna be okay. I really believe that. And from that standpoint, like my goal here is I don't want to be the third wild card again and have to play every series on the road. If we can pop in at 4 or 5, not bad, and maybe get lucky and get one of those series on the road if one of the other wild cards win, that's where I want to be. Especially at 4, it would be nice because you can have that first wild card series here, where last year we had to be in St. Louis when we were the 6.
Right.
So, and it was Mets Padres, if you remember, were the 2 wild cards last year. So, yeah, that's my goal. If we can get somebody out to the 4, which is I think it's LA right now, but don't hold me to that. It's LA, Miami. I think that'd be a really good spot, but I don't want to play LA either. So it's a weird, but I'll play who I need to play. Right now with this team, they have confidence. They're good players. I really have a lot of confidence in this team.
I think they can play anybody. I really do.
Yeah.
I think they can play to anybody. They show they can. Really, I just felt like Saturday and Sunday against Miami, I felt like you got 2 bad outings from pitchers that you rely on. I think Suarez, he was making just a lot of mistakes. He was making a lot of fielding mistakes, which is very uncharacteristic of him because he's practically like last year, he wasn't eligible to be a Gold Glove winner. He would have won it. I think he was a couple innings short or something, like meeting the criteria to be able to be considered for the Gold Glove. And then Nola, he goes and he is dominant against Tampa Bay, and then, gives up home run after home run after home run.
How crazy is that? Like, you shut down the Rays, the second best power hitting team in the league, and you're susceptible to the home run, and you just dominate them. And then you come to Miami, who can't hit a home run, and they knock balls out of the park.
I mean, Miami has our number, and really, we probably should have lost that Friday night game.
Oh, definitely.
So, for whatever reason, we just still can't figure out winning in Miami. I think it's just winning in Miami is tough for us to do, but they need to fix it. They need to fix it. But so again, I feel good. I feel like they're ready to move forward, and I think the second half just brings on bigger and better things.
I agree. So looking forward here, let's talk trade deadline real fast, just because you brought it up. I think it's a fantastic kind of, foreshadowing, kind of like hypothetical, debate that we can all have and talk about. I'm going to name one position. You can name your one position. Just think of one that needs to be fixed on this team. And the longer I thought about it and sat here and mulled on things, it's still corner infield for me. And I know we've talked about this before, but the corner infielders just aren't hitting pop. And I know we got Hall, and I know Bohm's up to 9 home runs, but I do think if we could get a power bat at the corner infield, and I know Harper could end up playing first. I get all those things.
Yeah.
I just think that's more important than a fifth starter right now. That's where I'm at. I think Chris Sanchez has come in and performed very well in that spot, kind of settled things down from what we had earlier with Strom and such. But and I still think there's a chance for Painter, and I still think they could look at Abel if they really, really got desperate. So I'm okay with fifth starter, leaving it off. And obviously in the playoffs, you're pitching 4 anyway, right? So I think I'm quarter infield. How about you?
It's really just you have to survive your fifth starter.
You do.
That being said, I'm going corner outfield. So really, you're looking at bringing in a bat to me like a like I said, a Cody Bellinger or something like that, where you can take Schwarber off the field. You have a guy with pop in Bellinger, um,
Former
who,
MVP, I think, too, if I remember, or at least
yeah,
he hit like 40
yeah,
homers.
right, right. So, but I mean, and the thing is, it's still like it's tough. I think I'm with you on the corner infielder. I mean, if you can pull a Goldschmidt or an Arenado, like that would be huge. Obviously, it would change the dynamic of the team because the thing is, Bryce is not giving you pop this year. I just don't think he's giving you
Mm-hmm.
pop the rest of the year. Hopefully, I'm wrong, but I think he just needs more time to recover from that. And I think it's just there's something, he hasn't really done much power wise. He's still a little sore and stuff like that. But to me, if there was one position, it would be corner outfield. Somebody to
And
take.
I love this point by Cease here because I just think it's Arenado, but I'm looking up a few things here. And, Goldschmidt is 35. Arenado himself is 32. So which one would they rather? They'll probably rather get rid of Goldschmidt. The only reason I think they might rather get rid of Arenado is because it's a longer contract.
Right.
Get some of that salary off the books and then move on and try and bring some other. I think they could even. I gotta look. I think Jordan Walker could play third, but they have some pieces there that they could do. But I take Goldschmidt in a heartbeat because that first base position right now is void of anything. So,
Right.
And if we did get Arenado on the other side, you move Bohm over first or Harper.
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't even play Harper at first if you got one of those.
No,
Just let him DH. Yeah,
no, just
and then I think the Cardinals are going to be in that. They got to trade. 38 and 52. They're not coming out of this. That's 90 games in. I mean, they'd have to play like 750 baseball just to get back to like 500. And
their president said that there are moves to be made.
yeah, and they have to. They just have to, and it's hard for St. Louis to do that, but they have to hit the reset button and move on. And yeah, we'll see. I would love to see either one of those in Phillies red instead of Cardinals red. But talking to that MLB All-Star game, and I can tell you, Mark, from the Home Run Derby to the MLB All-Star game, I was entertained the last few nights, Monday, Tuesday night. I don't know if everybody else gets into it like I did, but I watched everything front and back, and I really enjoyed it. MLB still to this day, and I know we all know this, puts the best product on for the All-Star games. But more importantly, the players try. And that's probably what made it exciting. First bat of the game, Acuna bombs the ball to right field. And out of nowhere, Dallas Garcia leaps up, spins around, catches it, crashes against the fence. Then Rosarena does it to Freddie Freeman, a batter later. So the MLB All-Star game for me was fun. But more importantly, we had a little Philly flavor. Casti came in and was very important for this team turning around. Not only did he walk, steal base, but he scored the tying run. He has a single later in the game. So I thought he looked great there. I mean, battling against one of those ballers in Bautista from Orioles was great at bat to get that walk to start the inning before the Elias Diaz home run. And then I thought Topper, he coached a good game.
The only thing that I would say is having Kimbrel in there for 30 pitches is probably
That's the problem.
It's probably not ideal. I
left that for you.
I didn't see a lot of the All-Star game. I kind of caught highlights of it. I watched the whole first round of the Home Run Derby. But yeah, no, Castellanos, I mean, he shows this season hasn't been a fluke. I think he showed last season was a fluke. Like he's always
I agree.
a good hitter. He's always been. That's why I was like, and I said it all year last year. I said, I promise he's going to have a better year this year. He did. I knew he was better than what he was doing. He was just off, and it just didn't seem right. And what he did in the All-Star game, like it shows that's where his head's at. He readjusted things. He was just uncomfortable. I think he kind of just threw himself into the situation, didn't really assess the situation and do whatever was necessary to put himself in the right headspace. But he looks. I mean, he just looks different. His swing just looks different. It looks like what he's supposed to be doing. Even, I mean, he's not missing nearly as often as he was because, like, when he missed it, I mean, he'd be swinging up in the zone on the ball that's all the way down. Like, it was bad. Now he's competing. He's fighting. His swing is just so much cleaner. And so it's really good, to see that and that he contributes. So I think it's just his comeback tour is real. And
I'll say this much. Turner's going to be the same way. Now, I hope
Yeah.
Pete turns around this year, but he's going to be the exact same way. This guy's a baller. He's a player. I love everything about him. I know he struggled, but I got his back. He'll be just fine.
Exactly. It's like I said, I said the same thing about, I've said this before, Francisco Lindor. Like when he first got to New York, he was awful. And I was like, he's too good to be this bad. I don't know what it is. I guess with some of these guys in these free agent contracts and, or moving over to a different team, sometimes they're just uncomfortable and not in their own way. Now he's been a really good player for them. So last 2 years. So it was Lindor, it was Castellanos, next year Turner.
It'll be Turner. Yeah. And it's funny, you mentioned Lindor. I was hanging out with a buddy in Nashville with a Mets fan, and he's like, Lindor's got 20 home runs. Like, no, he doesn't. There's no. I looked up, he had 19. I mean, that little guy hit 19 by an all-star break. Yeah, he's turning around. Now, let me just say this, and I love that you brought up Kimbrel. That's why I was leaving that for you.
Yeah.
30 pitches, I'm not a fan of. I get it. But I was more not a fan of the way he closes games. And I get he's facing all-stars. And I get he's been better this year. But, man, he's going to give us a heart attack every time going in, man. He's just too susceptible to the walks. He's too perfect. And I like him. I do. He's got K potential. I do like him. But we're just going to have to live with this, like, Jose Mesa-like heartburn, heart attack every night. And some nights will be good. Some nights will be bad. But I just want to get your take. I mean, he's our closer, right? We just got to live with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm good with it. Like, there's some nights where he's, in 8 pitches, he's got 2 strikeouts, and then he can extend the inning a little bit after that. And it takes you a little bit to get to that 3rd out. But, I mean, he's really improved, obviously, from the beginning of the season. But for what he's doing at his age with the downfall of Sir Anthony, with the injury and the slight decline in Alvarado, I mean, he's been a godsend. He's been a godsend. If they didn't do that before, if they didn't go out and get him, even knowing that they had Sir Anthony and Alvarado, things could be really bad right now. We could be out of it.
I agree. I think he's been really good. It's just we're going to have to ride the roller coaster. Yeah. Now, Cease, you got to – I understand where you're coming from. There's no doubt in my mind he's everyday second baseman. Not only that, I think he should be batting leadoff. I'm done with the Schwarber thing. I'm absolutely done with it. Stott should have been playing in Seattle.
Yeah.
He should have been an all-star team.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Rob.
Yeah. So, he's everyday. And you brought up another point. I got to this point in the game when they went to Jeter and Ortiz and Big Papi. And I'll tell you what, it was terrible TV. I'm just going to be honest. They didn't know what they were doing. They were grabbing popcorn from each other. Jeter looked so uncomfortable. But to say that the Red Sox aren't getting Ohtani and Soto's not going anywhere. But I get that that's what they wanted. I will bring up this point. Mark, have you ever seen anything like Ohtani?
No.
Like, honestly, you've got to go back to Babe Ruth, which obviously we weren't around for. There's nothing like this.
Right. A guy just – go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and there's no way he's staying in Los Angeles. So I'd love to get to maybe Los Angeles, but not the Angels. Love to get to your point when you answer what you think about him. Where do you think he might end up?
I'm trying to think where. No, it's definitely I don't see the Yankees for him. Where was I thinking he was going to go? Oh, and you're not going to like this answer. I'm not going to like this answer. Steve Cohen's just going to open up his checkbook and just write a big fat $600-700 million, because that's the thing about him. You're paying for a guy who can be a DH, and especially now at the DH in both leagues, you got a guy who can bat for you at worst 4 days and then pitch. So now you got a guy who can DH and give you all the run production that you need, and then pitch every 5th day. And not pitch as a bullpen closer or a bullpen arm, but as a starter.
You open up the book.
Low ERA, most strikeouts in the league. Like, I mean, he's not like he is dominant, and he's not like the most dominant ever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he gets a lot of strikeouts, and he's good and stuff like that. And then he's really good. I'm not saying he's not, but he's still not. He's probably not the top pitcher of baseball, but he's up there in the top 5.
Top
So
5. Yep.
you look at it and what's the going rate for players of his caliber this day, batting wise. You're not really worried about fielding for the most part. Obviously, if somebody's a great fielder, that's an added bonus. But you get a player for their bat, or you get a pitcher for their arm. You're getting both. So now you think about it, it's about 300, like 200 something for a pitcher, and 300 to 400 now for a batter. I mean, you're looking at least 600 million for this guy.
I agree, and here's what I'll say: I do think the Mets will have a chance. They'll be dipped in now. So they have the highest payroll in the league, but they're going to lose Verlander off their books next year because he was a 1-year deal. They're not bringing that back, and Scherzer's only one more after that, so they could easily foresee themselves stretching it for a year,
seeing if they could.
But yeah, but I still think it's the Dodgers, and I believe the Dodgers. Like at this point, Kershaw's just about out of there. Yeah. Arias hasn't looked like the answer this year, which I thought he was going to have a huge year.
Right.
And Buehler may be back next year, but they're just Dustin May got hurt too. They're piecing all together. I think a lot of times these Japanese players do like the West Coast more than the East Coast from the standpoint of it's a little closer and they'll have a little more fanfare out there too. So, look, I don't disagree with you. I think the Mets are going to be in play, but then he's going to look at it and be like, oh, that team's under 500 where the Dodgers have made the playoffs 20 straight years.
Yeah.
I think he's going to – either way, it's a bad news story for us.
Yeah.
NL, here he comes.
Right.
See, I fully believe it.
Yeah. Yeah, if there was no DH, then he would for sure be in the AL. But I think the NL has a real shot. I think those two teams are probably makes the most sense. Like Dodgers are the biggest thing on the West Coast, and the Mets have the most money. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, because the Yankees loaded up on Rodon this year, and obviously they have Cole and Judge. It's tough. It's going to be hard for them.
To Cease's point too, I don't know if you saw this. It's kind of ridiculous. And I don't know why. I'm really not a Soto guy.
Oh, I hate him.
I do not like it at all. And he what's his face? John Heyman's already he tweeted out earlier tonight that speculation out of Phillies that Soto could be in play in 25 in free agency.
Yeah,
because it's the Nats connect all the ex-Nats.
Yep.
On and so forth.
I don't like him too. I'm not paying $400 million for 80 walks at the break. He just sits there. He just sits there and waits and waits.
If I have to, eventually. But to be honest, he's not the kind of guy I want here. In their series against us last year for San Diego, he's just, to me, like a non-factor. He can take himself out of the game. I know he's a good player, but it's kind of a bonehead. I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't like he doesn't play good outfield either.
Really?
Don't get me wrong. If there was some way to bring him in at the right money with Harper and Turner, we'll do it. But and I think he's a heck of a player, but I don't think he just fits what you need to do. Now, again, I do think he's awesome, but he's just not my style guy. I try to find a way if Ohtani goes, I bring my man Trout somehow, some way. Now Trout's always hurt, and there's some other issues with him. And if we take trading, which I don't want to give away anything, we're building this farm system. But yeah, it's a good thing to hear that the Phillies are one of those Dodgers, Yankees, Mets kind of
they're in the conversation. Sure.
Yep. It's awesome. But hey, with that, let's talk about another Philadelphia team with another trading kind of station they are in the NBA, and that's the Philadelphia 76ers, a place where people want to go, but really we're kind of stockpiled, we're kind of blocked, and we don't have a lot to do and a lot of room to move. I don't know what this is going to be. And since we've been on, we knew Harden opted into his final year. I guess he can be restricted next year or unrestricted, but
he's unrestricted next year.
Yeah, and it's a very favorable contract, right? $35 million for a player that led the league in assists. It's actually very favorable for a lot of teams in this league, and he wants to be traded. I think in the end, he's going to be a Philadelphia 76er, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. I kind of feel like I don't want dimes on the dollar. I don't want your Norman Powells and your Terrence Manns, even though I know it's okay. I'd rather ride 1 year with Harden and open up the cap after that. As long as I don't have to pay him anymore. If he comes in here and plays his $35 million a year, I take it. But if he tries to start being this baby, he did it in Houston, got fat, didn't even try and play. That's my biggest concern with this whole thing is he'll play his way out of here. He'll play his way to a trade. He's done it before. He'll do it again. That's my worry by letting him play on this contract. So I don't know how I feel. I'd want Harden on the 1-year deal, but outside that, I don't want him.
Here's the thing. He can kind of control his destiny if he just deals. I mean, look, he jumped into his option. He picked it up. So he knew there was a real viable chance that he was going to be a Philadelphia 76er. It's very, the whole thing is odd because there must have been, I mean, I think he overvalues himself, which as a player you should do. You should, I get that side of it. Like as a player, like, think you deserve this, that, and the third. Now, did Daryl promise him like, hey, you sign this lighter deal, I got you when you come around the free agency? And then because they were like, which he finally did the right thing and didn't give in to him. Like he didn't give into that. Now, it's bad on Daryl Morey's part if he said, I got you later, and then doesn't. And that's why we're sitting here in the conundrum that we're in. That's definitely a possibility. And a lot of complaining that I've heard from like Sixer fans in general is why isn't Embiid reaching out to Lillard? Like, why isn't he trying to
that's tampering.
Right. But what I mean? They all have their back channels and they all have their ways of going about it and the way that they talk in the media. Like, and Embiid says, oh, I cherish his friendship. I want him back. Like, look, that Embiid has to say he wants him back regardless, whether he does or not. Like, because if you put your chips all into, we want Lillard, James Harden, and you can't get that trade done, James Harden's going to come in here and be what you're talking about. Be a baby. And that's going to stunt everybody because here's the problem. They're not going to tank. They're not going to blow it up. Embiid has no desire right now to leave at this point. And Embiid is the one who brings the fans into the seat. It's not Harden. It's Embiid. It's Embiid, and then it's Maxey. So the Sixers want to stay relevant. They want to be good enough to make the playoffs. That's where they make all their money. So
I think they want to win it. I do think they want to win it, but they're just stuck.
But they know that they can, regardless, if they're in the playoff contention, Sixers sell out a lot. They're one of the highest, I
agree,
earning teams when it comes to attendance. So they have to keep things the way that they are. If Embiid goes out and makes any other notion that he doesn't want Harden here, it's going to be hell to pay for all of us, for everybody involved. So,
I'm with you. So, good question here from Adam. I think here's the deal. I said this on a series show that I did with Tony Cattell about a week and a half ago when all the news started breaking about Lillard. I would not trade Tyrese Maxey for Damian Lillard. I just wouldn't do it. Lillard's like 33, and you'd have him until he's 36, playing him $60 million when Tyrese is 24. No, and I don't care. And we can debate it all day long. The guys that are out there, you win with Lillard. I don't know. He hasn't played a full season, 4 seasons. Right. Now, maybe part of that's being in Portland and not having the guys around.
The thing, yeah.
But I just don't know, and I don't care to figure this out. I'll take Lillard. Don't get me wrong, but it can't be Maxey. So if Harden goes, I keep Tobias and Maxey. Well, I'm keeping Maxey regardless, but I keep Tobias. I actually keep Tobias, and I wait till trade deadline, see how this team's doing, and see if I can improve my team then. But I'm not trading Harden and Tobias unless it's for Lillard. If I can get both those guys out of here, even a Jaden Springer, you can't trade Paul Reed now. But if I could do that and piece up a few things and bring back Lillard for Harden and Tobias, I'm doing it. I ain't doing it for Maxey. So that's where I'm at.
Thinking about it, here's what the Sixers need, but they're very hard to come by. And I think I may have brought this up previously, but this is one of those things where I'm, just listening to sports radio and during the commercial break, I'm thinking who could it be that they could get? They need a small forward. They need a perimeter. I know I said they need perimeter defense and a perimeter scorer because I really think you can succeed with Maxey and Embiid if you have. You really need 1-3-5. You need one.
Well, it looks like Murray and Jokic. I know that's better than Maxey and Embiid, but it's close. It is close. I fully believe it's close.
But and like Michael Porter Jr. could be that 3. So like that's your
Yeah.
1 through 5. I think in the NBA you need 1 through 5.
Yep.
2 and
And
4
then who is it?
supporting players. For us, I don't know. Like that's the thing. So when the Clippers were first brought up, and I was like, okay, Paul George or Kawhi Leonard. But
I
when they
know.
said that either of them, like, look, Kawhi Leonard, obviously when he's healthy, he's on. But you know that you're probably getting a guy who's maybe playing 40, 50 games for you. But if he can be healthy in the playoffs, it's all go for it. In the East, they'll be fine. There'll be a 4 or 5 seed, kind of like what LA's doing, but more talent. Kawhi would have a center, and then Tyrese Maxey would take that elevation. But Paul George is somebody who I've always wanted. He would be a perfect guy to be that scoring and that defense when you need it. And, Maxey could score on his own. He can create his own shot, and he can I think, and if you define Maxey's role as being a true point guard, if anybody's going to do it, he's going to be the guy who's going to learn how to be able to really facilitate the ball. Like, with his work ethic and the way that he plays basketball and his natural knack for the game and somebody who can get to the rim at will, he'll be able to open up so much more. That would be like if you said, Max, you're a point guard. You are running point. He'll learn it. He'll master it. He'll do it. I agree. But he needs a 3. He needs that.
And he also needs Harden out of here. But yeah,
he needs that Jason Tatum. He needs that,
So here's where I
that's
like
really what they need more than Lillard.
I like PG. I would take PG despite all his playoff fails. But for me,
sure.
I'm telling you, if they could find a way to get this Zach LaVine here, not probably the truest 3 that you have, but a really good 2 that is willing to he's willing to sacrifice.
Like your
yeah, but he could play like a 3. He's done it with DeMar DeRozan, right? He's learned how to sacrifice and turn on his game when he needs to. Be a stretch 2-3. I think LaVine is a great fit for this team. Sure. If they could find a way to get like a 3-team package involved, because Chicago's dangling him out there, especially with the money they just spent on Vucevic, and they got some other young players that can fill in.
They absolutely do. That would be ideal because you don't have to give up Maxey to make that happen. Now there was a photo. I think they have the same agency, and I think they have the actual same agent from Clutch. They were hanging out together the other night. It was just Maxey and LaVine. You
never know. And that's one I think it'll take some time. It'll take teams to figure out what the market is. And
there's no rush. Nobody has any agenda right now at this point.
Yeah, and you can still get Harden to LA, right? And LA has some pieces that Chicago will probably want. So
right.
I'll tell you another just small tidbit. If they could reel away Patrick Williams as well. I was a big Patrick Williams guy, got drafted 5th, I think, back in the LaMelo draft. Man, that would be a really Morey would win the offseason if he was able to get those 2 out of here for Harden. Because, again, James, I'll take him, and we'll be fine if that's what we got. But I think this team has a bigger ceiling with guys like LaVine, Williams, Maxey, a hold on to Harris. I think it's a good team.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I really do. And Denver proved it last year. You don't need to win with 3 superstars. You can win with 2.
They had a really good cast. Yeah.
Yep. With that, let's the only other thing, news came out last night. I'm sure you're really excited about this, but LeBron James will come back for next season.
We're lucky because he still has more that he can give. We are so lucky.
Now's not the time, bro.
Now's not the time.
That's what he said. Time's not now or whatever he said.
Yeah, he said, I'm going to keep going until I don't have anything left to give. And then he said, lucky for you, that's not the time.
Yeah, with these Dr. Eggman glasses. Get out of here. Yeah, I'm going to just move on from that real quick. And we're going to move over to the Philadelphia Eagles. And the Eagles, well, they haven't been much in the news of late. And a lot of that's because training camp's coming up next week. So it's a little tricky. But, yeah, I think some people come in on the 17th and then the rest come in on the 20th. But
kind of pitchers and catchers and then –
yeah, veterans and rookies are, kind of staggered. Yeah. But, there's a lot of anticipation to this season. A lot of things that, can still happen here in the offseason, as we know. But as I look at the Eagles right now and I look at what they were last year, I honestly got to say they're just as talented. Now, have they dipped in some areas? Sure. But this addition of Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter and some of the things we did in the draft, and then the offense is still intact. Yeah, we lost a couple of like fringe offensive linemen, but we still have more in the reserves that are coming in. I'm good, man. I'm really excited for this season.
Yeah, no, there's a lot, and I think there's still a move to be made. Whether it happens or not,
Yep.
we'll see. Whether it's for a linebacker or safety, I think they're going to make some kind of upgrade on that side of the ball. It would really be nice to see, but well, I mean, sky's the limit for them. I think last year was very good for them because they're hungry and they didn't lose as much as we thought they were going to lose, and they've stockpiled on the positions that they lost. They replaced. They came in. They filled in. So I think they're going to work hard, and I really think that from everything that it seems that Jalen is still Jalen. He's not like I'm $200 million Jalen now. He's Jalen Hurts, and he's not going to change. A lot of people think that the way he's been carrying himself, he's still the same. He's still there for his teammates. He's going to their weddings. He's for his offensive line. Like it's stuff that he doesn't have to do, but he's doing. And the team takes on the personality of the quarterback, and he has been, when you and I were doubting him, we never had any doubts about who he was as a person.
No.
We never had any issues with who he was, the way that he goes about business. Is the arm talent there? But he worked on it. He worked, just like I said, like with Maxey, that if you tell him, Tyrese, we need you to be a point guard. We need you to be the point guard that's going to, distribute, still get to the rim. And he says, bet, got it. That's Jalen. Jalen's like, my arm needs to be better. I need to be more accurate. I need to push the ball down the field more. And they did it. Now, don't get me wrong, too. They helped him out. They got him what he needed. They let him succeed. And I said that before the season. Like, when they got A.J. Brown, it's like, okay, we've kind of taken this chance on this kid. It would be stupid of us to not put weapons around him to make him better. What they do, they go out and get his best friend. And a great receiver. Like, they set him up, not for failure. They set him up to be great. And so far it's panned out. So I think they have trust in him. He has trust in them. I think it's good things going forward. I think he's going to take that because, I was watching, I know I've kind of gone on a rant here, but after listening to a couple weeks ago when the Kelceys were in Seattle for Jason Kelce's thing, Travis, they were talking to Travis Kelce, and he was saying, when I lost the Super Bowl, that was harder than the wins. Obviously, Jason Kelce said the same thing. Like, the losses hurt so much more than the wins feel great. Jalen Hurts now has that, the loss hurts more than a win. He's never won. So what's he going to do? He's going to be full sicko mode and just so honed in on winning because that probably had to hurt so bad. And especially like having a fumble and like, even though he played a great game, that he's not gonna forgive that himself for that fumble.
No, I'm with you. And to answer Cease's question, will he elevate his game? I say yes. And there's several reasons that kind of Mark all culminated together. But I'll add one more. Having a running back that can catch the ball will turn Hurts' game even higher. I mean, this DeAndre Swift, I think, can be huge. I mean, Miles Sanders caught like 13 balls last year. Like, they just didn't have that piece of the offense. You add that now, I'm just not sure where you're going to stop this team. And I'm really excited for it. And then to back up one of your other points saying they're going to add something, just remember what they added last year right around this time. Actually, it was a little later, James Bradbury. So, there's pieces that'll fall out. I know Dalvin Cook's out there.
Another one too.
Chauncey Gardner-Johnson.
Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. He was late.
But that was a trade, but still a great, a great.
They're looking at it, a trade. It could be a Queen, it could be a Buda Baker, something like that. Make some noise, turn some heads. Even more.
I absolutely agree. They'll find something to even add more fuel to this fire and more talent to this team that, to me, it still has sky the limits. I know it's always don't don't bet on the Super Bowl loser. They always have a down year. Well, I mean, the Bengals were pretty good last year and lost an AFC championship.
Sure.
I think the Patriots lost in the Super Bowl and came back and won the next year. So it's not always that same. I think the Eagles are going to be one. I mean, especially in a watered down NFC. So I can't wait to talk more football, especially as we open up the training camps next week, Mark. But that about does it here for a great edition of Fourth and Go. Thanks, everyone, for checking, especially Adam, for all the great questions. And, Mark, it's going to be fun. Phillies open up a series against the Padres Brewers. I think we'll know where they're at. I think we know where they're at now, but I think we'll know where they're at better when we talk next week.
For sure.
All right, brother. Can't wait for it. Until then, we'll see you in 7 days. I'm Dave Gluckner. Mark Tomasini, Philly Fourth and Go. Well, really, Philly 444 plus more. Fourth and Go. Until next week, Heat Ratio Sports Network.